Good evening. It was a gorgeous sunny morning at Central Gap Elementary School. My lesson plans were prepared and I was preparing my room for fun exercises and brain bowls in spelling and math. The door is open to classroom number 203 where a tiny 7-year-old has made his way to his first grade class. As he enters the classroom before the other children arrive, I immediately notice that it looks unkept. His clothes are dirty and wrinkled. His hair is uncombed. He smiles at me and takes his seat midway the class, where I notice that he doesn't have a backpack, nor does he have a lunchbox. I've been working with children for 23 years, and I recognize the telltale signs of poverty. And I want to share some alarming information with you. As I process the boy's scenario in my mind, I notice he is not aware of me watching him. He holds his stomach where he has just experienced a hunger pain. I realize that he probably had not had breakfast. I decided to make small talk with him as I pass out the morning seat work, only to find out that this little boy has not had anything but cookies to eat since yesterday after he left school because his mom was out looking for work. Trying not to show my sadness for his plight, I prepare a pass to the cafeteria where he could get a hot, nutritious first meal of the day. This is a very real scenario for many children across the nation, and I'm going to give you some statistics about children in poverty in the United States. I'm going to tell you how a child's development is impacted by poverty, and I'm also going to give you some ideas of what you can do to help the smallest members of our community. Let me throw this number at you. 16.1 million. What do you think when you hear a number like 16.1 million? Phew, that is a high number for whatever we would be counting, right? What would you say if I told you that 16.1 million children live in poverty in the United States today? According to statistics from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the desk of the Assistant Secretary of Planning and Evaluation at Columbia University, as well as the National Center for Children in Poverty, or the NCCP, 16.1 million American children, now that's persons under age 18, are living in poverty. They were living in poverty, or according to the statistics in 2011. These children live in families with incomes below the federal poverty level, which is $23,550 a year for a family of four. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, in 2011, there were 18% of our or 9.8% of our children that were living in deep poverty. Using this standard, 45% of our children live in low-income families. Several of these children have parents who work, but low wages and unstable employment leave their families struggling to make ends meet. I'd now like to give you child poverty statistics by race and ethnicity as of between the years of 2000 and 2011. According to the NCCP, Latino children, which includes all Hispanic, Caucasian, does not include Hispanic children, and Black or African American, which includes multi-races and a multi-race category. I'm going to give you those statistics. Okay, are you ready? For African American children, the poverty rate was 37.4%. For Latino children, the poverty rate was 34.1%. For non-Latino or Caucasian children, the poverty rate was 12.5%. These are high percentages. They're staggering numbers. children living in female-headed families with no spouse present had a poverty rate of 47.6%, over 4 times the rate of children living in married couple families. Theirs was only 10.9%. Child poverty by family structure. Please take special note as these differences are staggering. In the 2011 study, poverty rate for children in married couple families was 10.9%, and that was up from a low of 8.1% in 2006. The poverty rate among children living in female-headed households with no spouse present was 47.6% in that 2011 study. Children living in female-headed households with no spouse present had a poverty rate over 4 times that of children in married couple families in that 2011 study. This is a large percentage of our country's children who are impacted by poverty. Let's discuss a number of ways poverty affects their day-to-day lives. According to the National Center for Children in Poverty, they further report that poverty can impede children's ability to learn, can contribute to social, emotional, and behavioral problems. Poverty can also contribute to poor health because most children living in poverty do not have health insurance. According to the NCCP, it also showed that there is a correlation between poverty and mental health issues. They further report that risks are greater for children who experience poverty when they are young and or experience deep and persistent poverty. Research is clear that poverty is the single greatest threat to children's well-being next to abuse and neglect. There are a few things we can do as members of a national community to help ensure that no child goes hungry. Each of us can contact our national representatives to voice our support for policies that support families. Effective public policies like to make work pay for low-income parents, to help them succeed in the workforce, and to provide high-quality early care and learning experiences for their children. Or maybe possibly an earned income tax credit or of some kind could maybe make a difference. Each of us could also volunteer our time or contribute donations to local charities that are providing meals to children in our communities. Let me give you some suggestions. On the national level, there is Feed the Children. There is Feeding America. There is Help the Children. Those are charities. In Florida, statewide, some of the charities that focus on feeding children are Florida Association of Food Banks, the Food for the Poor, or the Catholic Charities of Florida. I live in Orlando, and some local charities are the Rosen Rewards, Second Harvest Food Bank, and the Orlando Food Pantries. As individuals, each of us can also ensure that the children we know, such as our nieces and nephews, children of our neighbors' children, children in our churches, have adequate meals during the week. I've just given you some alarming facts and statistics about this most crucial problem among children in the United States. I've told you how poverty impacts children's development, but I have also given you a few suggestions of some awesome ways you can help to improve this problem. I know the statistics are high, but you have more power than you think. So go out there and change a child's life today. Remember, investments in the most vulnerable children are absolutely critical. Thank you so much for listening.